She's been accused of merchandising her children, making money from clothes, called adrift on facts and reality, released a trailer for her podcast, and it's 5 years since Megxit. Where in the near catastrophic car crash of a week do you want to start, Bronte?
That question is the equivalent of one of those absolute Whopper burgers. I literally don't know where to bite first. Where should we start? Okay, well...
Should we start with Graydon Carter? So this is the former editor of Vanity Fair. And he was talking about an interview in 2017 that Meghan did with the magazine. It was a front page cover. And I think he said that she is adrift on facts and reality. Is that an accurate description?
Well, it came after he explained that she seemed to be a bit put out. I think the word was challenged, because the reporter was obviously asking about the fact she was dating Prince Harry. That had come out less than a year earlier. They went on to get engaged a couple of months later. It's the reason she was in the magazine, let's be real. The Suits was popular, but she's an ensemble cast member. And so she was a little put out. They weren't talking about her charity work instead. And so for him to then say she was a bit adrift from reality, I think is a fair assessment, because obviously that's what the conversation was going to be and went on to be, and what the cover was. So, look, I will say this happened in 2017, so some years ago. Can't be helpful for her, given the start to the year that she's had, to have someone else, though, kind of going back over something and criticising her publicly like that.
It's not the first time, though, Arthur, is it, that it's maybe been pointed out that she may be bending the truth a little bit? I mean, if you remember,
I think the editor, if the editor didn't know who she was, I mean, the editor of a magazine like that would probably know most people are, and he didn't know who she was, and it was only in the magazine because she was dating Prince Harry. And he got a fabulous picture of the front there. I mean, whoever shot that, you know, congratulations, you look superb. But, you know, she apparently said she wanted to talk about her charity work. Well, no, he didn't. You know, he wanted to talk about her relationship with Prince Harry. So, you know, she nothing to moan about. She got great publicity, and she was unknown. I never heard of her when I first heard she was linked with Harry. I never heard of her. No one I knew had heard of her. No one in my family had heard of her. She was a complete unknown, like a film I've just seen, and it was. You know, I think she was lucky to get that publicity. I mean, and that's what she always sought, publicity. She wanted to show what a great actress she was. The thing is, it was just, she was lucky to get that, and then moaning about the fact they never talked about her charity work. Well, you know.
Well, I think the idea was that she wanted it to be about philanthropic work, which is a very difficult word to say, by the way, philanthropic work that she was doing, but the researchers of Vanity Fair couldn't actually find evidence that there was the amount of philanthropic work that she alleged. But it's just these comments that just stick with me, adrift on facts and reality. If we look at other things, I mean, she claimed that she got married in the back garden of Frogmore Cottage by the Archbishop of Canterbury. I remember she's given interviews where she said that she met a cast member from The Lion King who said that they celebrated her wedding in the same spirit as when Nelson Mandela was freed from prison. And she also spoke about a cabin crew member. I seem to remember doffing their hat to her and saying thank you for all the service to the country. I mean, she does have a history of tall stories.
It's kind of like whenever you watch Hollywood stars do those talk show interviews and stuff, and they have those great anecdotes. And I don't mind that they're softening the edges of it a little to make a great story, but the problem is when you become a high-profile person in the royal family, facts matter and the truth matters, and particularly when you're talking about historical events. And I think that's where the real issue comes in. So I do believe, adrift from reality was, given those examples especially, not an unfair summary of it.
Oh, she said that when she had this blind date with Prince Harry, she had no idea who he was. Well, she said when she was asked to curtsy, she'd never done that before. You know, every girl knows how to curtsy. They do it as kids, you know. I mean, it's just not true, you know. She as Bronte just listed a few others there, you know, it's just, this woman just exaggerates things. And the fact is, she was only ever in Vanity Fair because she was having, you know, seeing Prince Harry, and she looked like she was, you know, she grabbed him, and she was, and that's the reason, and she should be grateful for that.
So is this comment from Graydon Carter, as I say, is the ex-editor of Vanity Fair, but a very well-respected journalist. Is this just stating the obvious, or is it hugely damaging to Meghan Markle?
I would say that off the back of, I mean, you go back 2017, she's on the cover. It's a very gushing piece about Meghan. We then go to January this year and Vanity Fair released that tell-all sort of article that was very damaging to her with the bullying allegations resurfacing and giving this idea of her and Harry being a bit directionless in business. I think it's not the turning point, but it's certainly unhelpful because it's a big US publication that she would have traditionally been favoured by, and now it just kind of indicates again, I know he doesn't work for them anymore, but he did for many years, decades. And so it's again just that idea that she's kind of fallen out of favour.
Now, Graydon Carter should have been an ally of Meghan. That's someone that she would have sought approval from, because even Vanity Fair editor. Another person that my understanding is she sought friendship with and approval from is Gwyneth Paltrow. I think in many ways she's modelled a lot of the work that she's done over the last 6 months to a year on Gwyneth Paltrow and her Goop. Very, very famous and very, very successful.
I think Gwyneth Paltrow is famous because of Shakespeare in Love, for which she won an Oscar. And Meghan's famous for just marrying a prince. That's the difference. And she was very established. And Gwyneth Paltrow, I think that thing thing she launched is worth millions now. And it's followed greatly. But whether Meghan, with a new podcast and this show she's done, In Love, and whether that takes off, I don't know. But there's she's got 2.5 million followers on Instagram, so there'll be a lot of people buy the clothes she wants to help sell. And I think the clothes are pretty boring and very expensive, what they are. But people think, oh, Meghan wore this, I'm going to buy it, And it's the same with our princess here, Catherine. I mean, everything she wore sold out. In fact, she's recently stopped giving out who made the clothes and anything to do with the clothes. It's almost like she got a tip that what Meghan was going to do and she wasn't going to do the same. But in fact, when Catherine wears an outfit, I mean, sort of stunning in it, I mean, it does sell out. I mean, it's just a matter of fact. So whatever Meghan puts on that site, whatever clothes she wears, a pair of sandals for 300 quid or a dress for $1,000, people will buy it and she will get a rake off from that. And it's a business. But the fact is, she's trying hard to make because obviously her sort of podcasts were not very great, and the movie she made, the video she's made are not that great. Maybe she'll do well selling clothes, but who knows? I think she can't compare herself to Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow was a magnificent actress and well known and did it all on her own. She never needed marry some famous person. She married a very famous person. She married a band leader,
Chris Martin from Coldplay, and her parents are very famous. I will say Gwyneth Paltrow is a Nepo baby, but has done very well.
Yeah, great actress, yeah.
The Gwyneth Paltrow one I'm in two minds about because, I mean, we've spoken about this on the show. Clearly, you have a vision of if you're launching a new brand, you have people you'll draw inspiration from. And there's no doubt that Meghan would have considered Gwyneth Paltrow's very successful empire, I think it's worth $200 million. She would have considered that as a sort of, template of what could be possible for her.